Guess what? You're good enough. Yes, you. You are good enough for anything you want to plug yourself into. You're good enough to start down a health journey. You're good enough to go back to school and get a new credential or a degree. You're good enough to apply for that new job. You're good enough to move to that new town. You're good enough to move on past a toxic relationship, put in a lot of work on yourself, and then attract genuine, real love that you've been seeking, that's aligned with you, that loves you for who you are. You're good enough to let go of the vices. You're good enough to do life on life's terms, to be sober-minded. You're good enough to ask for help and to go to some therapy, to start processing some of your emotional, traumatic pain and suffering, the wounds that you have of your past. You're good enough to give yourself permission to heal. Recovery doesn't have to be an endless process. You're good enough to be recovered. You're good enough to truly become your best self. Do you believe it? Or are you holding yourself back? Is it the inner critic in your mind, right, that's been programmed there, that continues to tell you that you're not good enough, that you can't do that? This is the world we live in. I talk to youth, when I say youth, high schoolers, on a regular basis, and most of them, when I ask them, hey, what's your dream? Guess what they say? I don't know. And the truth of the matter is not that they don't know. The truth is they're afraid to say it because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of somebody saying, you're not good enough for that. You can't do that. You're not that person. You're never going to accomplish that. And guess what? That's the shit that most of us heard growing up. Someone projected their limiting beliefs, their insecurities, their fears upon you as an impressionable child, 0 to 10 years old. And you've carried that dialogue, that voice inside your head as if it's your own, and it's not. That's not your truth, because I am here to tell you, you are good enough. You are good enough to build your dreams. You are good enough to be successful. You are good enough to be rich. You're good enough to accomplish anything that you put your heart and mind and soul and strength into. You're good enough to start exercising. You're good enough to eat healthy. You're good enough to say no to the things that don't add life to you but are tearing you away. You're good enough to set yourself free from a place of complacency and misery and suffering and sadness and loneliness and depression and anxiety. You're good enough to overcome PTSD. You can heal anything. We are all capable of programming our minds, or should I say, reprogramming our minds to develop new habits, new beliefs. Do you believe this? Will you give yourself permission to hear what I have to say? This has been the whole experience that I've been on. When I hit my rock bottom in 2012, I was just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially broke. I was as broke as you can be on all areas. And I knew I needed help because I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to, and by giving up, I'm straight up talking about I wasn't going to kill myself. I couldn't go there. I wanted to, I thought about it, I had plans, but that wasn't something that I could follow through on. And so I needed help. I had to get sober. I knew that that was the thing causing me the most problems. When I looked back on my life, the drunkenness, the alcohol, the partying, right? Not one DWI, but two DWIs, and then domestic arrests and all this other just chaos, suffering. And I knew that I was that there was something better inside of me. I knew that there was a better version of who I was being, because that wasn't even being somebody. That was just going through the motions, trying to survive from one day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next, 1 year to the next. And under the surface, even though I had some success, even though I was making a lot of money, I was miserable. I was angry, I was sad, and I didn't understand why. And it took me going along this healing journey. And what I have learned by trying just about everything you can try. And a lot of people don't like hearing all this stuff because you think you have it figured out, but yet I've tried a lot of things. I've tried just about everything. I'm that open and expanded that I didn't know what was gonna work, so I was willing to try everything, right? I tried Christianity, I tried church, I tried hypnotherapy, I tried cold water therapy, I tried iron therapy, I've tried nature therapy, I've tried talk therapy. I've done every kind of therapy you could think of. And what I do realize is that all of them helped in different ways. None of them was a magic pill unto themselves. And what I have realized along my journey is that, again, for those of you that get triggered about the Christianity thing, I love God, right? Me and God are so tight right now. This message is coming to you directly from the love, the unconditional love that God is showing me. God is showing me the fullness of his heart, and I'm sharing it with you. Straight up. That's how I'm showing up here right now. To share this message of love, of light. And whether you hate on me, whether you accept me or reject me, I'm going to keep showing love. I'm going to respond with love. Do not mistake my kindness for weakness, but I'm going to show love. I choose love right now. It's the most powerful force in the world. And the thing I realized is that I didn't love myself. Because really loving myself is self-care. It's what is my self-image? What's your self-image? How do you see yourself? Is it true? Is it a delusion? I remember being a perfectly disgusting, overweight, right, dad bod version of me not that long ago, 10 years ago. In my 30s, I thought I was gonna die in my sleep. I was the heaviest I'd ever been, probably about 242 and a half pounds, right? I'm carrying around 185 now. I'm lean, mean, and a dang destroying machine. And I feel so proud that I was able to do this. And I'm speaking this message because you can too. You're good enough to do it. If I was good enough to do it with all the mistakes and all the fuck ups I've done in life, all the failures I've had, I've always dusted myself up and I've always gotten myself up and I've always owned my shit. But here's the thing I realized is I didn't love myself because I wasn't taking care of myself. I've never been somebody that has only drank one beer. If I buy a 6-pack, I'm drinking 6 beers. If I buy a 12-pack, I'm drinking 12 beers. You know what I mean? Like if I buy an eighth of weed, I'm gonna smoke the eighth of weed. Like that's my conditioning, and it may not be yours, but that is who I am. And I realized that I wasn't taking care of myself, and I realized that I was, eating all my feelings and all my emotions. And usually that wasn't healthy food, that was fast food. I was eating like I was still 16 in my 30s, and I had the body that showed it. And this hurts a lot of people when you're out of shape and overweight and you are being judged. Every room you go in, you are being judged if you are carrying around a lot of weight. It's a sad thing. But we're all judged for something. I'm judged for the funny way that I look. If that's what you think, I don't care. That's the difference, is I validate myself. And that is another part of that self-image. I truly have gotten to a place that I look myself in the mirror. I love me. And if you're hurting, right, and you really don't love yourself right now, I think it's Mel Robbins. She talks about giving yourself that high five in the mirror. A lot of us can't even do that. When was the last time you looked yourself in the mirror and looked yourself in the eyes, right, and said, a full-length mirror, and said, I love you? I do it almost every time I'm at the gym because that's where the most full-length mirrors that I see are. I got some here at my home, right? But I look myself in the eyes and I say, I love you, man. We got this. We can do this. And that's a part of just developing that love for yourself. Most of us don't love ourselves. We really don't. We think taking care of others is taking care of ourselves. And again, self-care isn't just, the bar is so low right now. That's the problem. The problem is the bar for healthy is so low. If you're a functioning alcoholic, like, that's considered healthy nowadays. It's so bad right now. If you can literally function, like meaning show up to work, right? Put in a 8-hour day, whether half of it's online or you're actually being productive, that's what we've become. Like, that's healthy now. As long as you only eat fast food like 4 out of 7 days, that's healthy. Right? As long as you're only drinking energy drinks 1 time a day, then you're a healthy person. It's so dang low. And it's because our standards are so low. It's because there's so much pressure in this day and age to be something that we're not. And every time you try and fit into a box that is not made for you, you lose a little bit about yourself. And I'm here to tell you that the time has come for you to truly fall in love with yourself, but it takes discovering yourself and the beauty and the uniqueness that is you. You are one of one. There is a gift inside of you that makes you so incredibly special and gifted. And this is your opportunity to unlock that gift, that purpose, that dream that is inside of you. I'm here to show you, and I'm here to coach you and mentor you and encourage you that I believe in you and you could believe in yourself. But guess what? You're going to have to let go of a lot of shit that isn't good for you. And that's the tough, scary part. That's the scary part for most of us, and even for me. The real flex was me saying, you know what, and I just surrendered it willingly. I said, God, I'm giving it all up. I'm letting go of everything. And that means not only people, possessions, but even beliefs. God, take away everything I even told God this one time, guys. I said, God, I want you to take away everything I've ever been taught about you from another person. And I want you to show me who you are. Just you. You and me. Right? Not someone else. You show me you. You're a living God. You're alive. Show me who you are. And that has happened. And I believe that God is the fullness of love. And there's a lot of ways that we define love. A lot of us think of love as just like this lightning in a bottle, right? That attraction, that connection, that chemistry, or it's even just the passion of celebrating a win with the team. I love my team. I love my car. We say it, we love our spouses, but we don't love ourselves. When do we put ourselves in the top 3 of the people we love? Because isn't it true that the love you give yourself is the love you give others? How can you give others a love that you're not giving yourself? And so to me, it's an act, it's fake. If you genuinely look in the mirror and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not making decisions for your best interest, for your best health, you're literally just numbing yourself out. You're just trying to survive whatever this experience is on this planet called Earth versus thriving. You're barely surviving. You're like, oh, another election. Oh, the pandemic. Oh, the this. Oh, the that. Oh, this issue. Oh, the price of this. Oh, the price of that. That's like barely surviving when you should be thriving. It is all about your thoughts, your mind. And again, you get what you give. And if you're giving all this negativity and all this doubt and all this low energy frequency of vibration, then guess what you're getting back? God is even going to give you what you put out there. And if you put out judgment and cynicism and scarcity and poverty and not being good enough, then you're going to get everything that validates those feelings. The things that you resist is the things that you get. And it's like, we hear it all the time, pick your hard. You can live a hard life. It's hard to be broke and it's hard to be rich, but I'd much rather have money to where I'm not stressed out about paying my bills or what I want to do than literally doing a hard life and being strapped. And money is not the source of all happiness and joy, but I can tell you what, is that you can be a heck of a lot more happier and make a bigger impact in this world when you have resources to make moves, to be of service to people beyond just your time and attention, your war chest, your treasures. And ultimately, I talk to the youth, back to the youth, to close out this talk. I hear a lot of people when we talk about career paths and dreams, and a lot of people say, oh, I want to be a nurse. And I always kind of laugh at them. It's like, oh, so you like cleaning poop on people? You like to clean poop? And like all these kids are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, that's a part of the job. I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy, and I used to moonlight at hospitals and work as a nurse's assistant. And it's nasty, man. It's nasty. But these kids get sold, oh no, it's all about the money. And it's like, man, it ain't about the money. For you to have to show up and help somebody on their very worst day when you're having a fucking bad day, it ain't gonna be about the check. And yet a janitor, we put janitors down that clean toilets, but nurses gotta clean shit, caca, all over people. I've done it. It's so disgusting. It's bad. But you have to be humane and you have to have that heart. And yet so many of us make decisions only based on the money. And that's survival. Thriving and empowering yourself is making decisions based on what lights you up, what excites you, what brings you joy and happiness. And it, like, what is the gift? What is the thing that comes natural to you? And then knowing that in this day and age, you could develop that, any gift, to such a place that the money and the value, if you're adding value to this world, it comes back to you. But yet so many people, they settled. You settle for the job because you're in suffering mode. But I'm telling you, you're good enough to switch. You're good enough to go back to school and quit making excuses. You're good enough to take night classes. I did it in my 30s. I didn't get just 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Is a degree the end all, cure all? No. But in this society, modern day society, education still carries weight. I learned this getting in the military at 17 years old, feeling like Going to college, I didn't feel like I was college material. Coming out of high school, I got good enough grades to go to the military, play sports, but I didn't feel I was college material because guess what? I didn't know anybody that had been to college. So I didn't think I was good enough. So I went to the military. Here's one of the first lessons I learned in the military. That if you showed up in the military with a college degree, you got better pay, a better quality of life, better housing, better food, and you got to be in charge of everybody. Straight up. We value it. So I saw that. I was like, man, that piece of paper carries weight. It has value. And I knew that even getting out of the military, once the economy fell off the cliff, here's one of my setbacks in life. The economy falls off the cliff, 08, 09. I was running a business, starting a family, investing in real estate, and I lost everything. And coming off of the rebound of that, if any of you can relate, I lost my home. I mean, I had to pack up the dogs, 2 kids, and it was like a modern day wagon train moving back here to my home state of New Mexico out of Southern California, living on the beach. And yet I didn't have the energy and the focus to go and restart a business and get back into that entrepreneurial spirit, that I started looking at jobs, and holy shit, guess what they wanted? The paper. I had all this experience stacked sky high, and the one thing holding me back from a managerial job, from a leadership position, was the paper. And yes, they say, oh, well, submit your, qualifications and we'll do this math problem to figure out if you have the equivalency of education. I'm like, dude, there's 100 people in line that have it. I'm not going to be considered. So guess what? I went back because I believe in being the complete man. I don't like having weaknesses. I don't like having vulnerability. Whether I use that education or not, it's never hurt me. It never will hurt me, and it can't be taken away. And it only adds value to me. So if you're someone that's feeling like you're not good enough, you're feeling like you're being judged, what can you do to change? Ask yourself that and listen for the answer, because you know it's going to come through. The answer to that question, what can I do that I need to do that if I did this, it would change my life for the better? And then listen, the answer will come through. Are you willing to give yourself permission to then act on that? That is the key. That is the magic. And a lot of times it's a scary answer. A lot of times it's an answer where we just don't feel good enough to do it. We just don't feel like our circumstances, the stars are aligned. Maybe when this happens, maybe when that happens. No. Now is the time. When you get the answer, there is a first step. It's a leap of faith for you to take to start realigning your life in a way that is set up for your success, for your victory, and for your greatest days. The best day is now. The greatest days are still ahead. But you've settled because you keep listening to that critic inside of you. I'm telling you, turn that volume down. Let's start amping up this volume. Listen to positive affirmations, whatever it takes for you to start believing in yourself. You are good enough. You are good enough. You are good enough. You are good enough. You are worthy to be successful. You are worthy to live out your dreams. You're worthy to attract riches and abundance and to live your dream life. You're worthy regardless of where you're at right now. Your circumstances say otherwise. I know that. And you have to see past that. If you need help, reach out. I'm offering free one-on-one 90-minute strategy sessions. And I have a limited amount of space for extended one-on-one coaching that will truly transform your life. But you got to want it. You got to put in the work. And know this. I'm here for you. I see you. I hear you. Keep tuning in. Share this message. Subscribe if you haven't. But go share some love with somebody today. And you know who you should share love with the most? the person you see in the mirror. Let that person know that you love them. Give them a high five. I love you. You know the drill. Results kill excuses. Because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.